YouTubers again. This is that 71 GMC that we're going to be working on redoing the cab and some other stuff. But to take the cab off, we've got to mark our wires and our airlines and get them back in the right place. I'm going to kind of show you here, and I want to give you some other video shots of the tags I'm making at home out of flashing and some number stamps. But get the hood raised here and we'll show you what we're talking about. You have your harness that plugs in right in here, and your airlines like on your wiper motors here, and we'll show you on the other side in this part of this relay here. But what we're going to do is make tags, you know, about as big as my index finger width and length, with a hole in the end of it to use a piece of tie wire and tie the tags on, and say this, we'll mark this one 1A. Wherever the airline plugs into or the electric wire plugs into, it's going to be 1B or 2A and 2B. Let me show you the other side, the cluster of wires. That's the reason for, not cluster of wires, but the cluster of airlines. Now, this cluster of lines here that goes into this box, this valve body's only got 3 bolts in it. So we're just going to unbolt this valve body and let it go with the truck. The foot valve's going to stay with the frame, because it's got to be replaced, and I'll show a video of replacing it. But this one will be marked, you know, there'll be an A and a B and whatever the number is, A and B, and they'll be tied on where the respective line goes, plugs in or threads on. And things that can just lift off the cab, like this jug will just lift off, we'll mark the lines on it where they plug in at, things like that. And there'll be a few things that actually come off. There's a fuel water separator on the frame over there that's been done away with, and we'll end up just taking it off the frame. But while the cab is off, I want to clean the frame and paint it. Alright, back to what I was saying earlier in the video. Out there at the truck, we're going to make tags. I have already started by marking out our tags, drilling holes, as you can see, in a block of wood. And I'm getting ready to take this hammer and knock a burrs down on the back side. Zoom in here and look at it. There's burrs from the drill that are up that ain't coming off, and I ain't gonna take the time to try to round them out because I'll get the holes too big, and they don't need to be no bigger. All I'm doing will take a hammer and kind of make sure they're flat so they don't cut nobody. There ain't no point in cutting anybody trying to put tags on. That's all I was doing there. Now, what I'm using to mark these, instead of trying to write them on with permanent marker, is a punch set. It's a 36-piece set, you know, so you have your alphabet A to Z, and then you have a 0 to 9 for your numbers, and you can make whatever set of numbers you want. What I'm going to do is start out, and I'm going to mark them with pencil so you can kind of see this. I'm going to be 1A, 1B, this will be 2A, and I'm writing them upside down so I know it ain't the prettiest. 2B, and on and so forth. You're going to take a hammer and these steel punches. As you can see, they've got, hopefully you can see all the letters embossed on the ends of them and the numbers there. And we'll just go down through here and mark them. And that way they can't fade, because if you put permanent marker on something like this and it sits in the sun very long, they fade and you can't read your number no more. They won't even show up even that you've marked it. I'd marked a piece of aluminum to cut out, and it had only been about a month and all the marker was gone off of it. The sun had bleached the black out. So I had to remark it and to cut it the other day. But that's on a different project. We'll have to do some videos on it too. Alrighty, we'll get back with you here in just a minute. Alright, now, what I went ahead and marked all these out, and you may or may not be able to see them depending on the light on the camera. But I told you 0 through 9 on the numbers. I told you wrong. 6 and 9 are use the same die. You just turn the punch over and stamp it the opposite direction, and it makes a 9. So you have 0 and 1 through 8, and then like I say, 6 makes 9. So the 36-piece set, the only other additional stamp that's in there besides A through Z is the and sign, and that's the only extra. But what I've got here is 36 tags marked out, but they're marked in sets of pairs of A1 or 1A, 1B, and so on down to 18A and 18B, and that'll mark, you know, 18 different lines or wires, will depend on what we've got to mark. And I'm not 100% sure, I may have to make more tags. Now I'll take a pair of 10 snips and follow these lines and cut these out. And I took in, you've seen the sheet I had there before, and I cut it in strips. And what I've done is tied the A and the B of each number together, and are cutting them to where we get ready to tag that before we take that cab off. We will undo this wire on these two tags and then retie them on their respective lines, you know, and on their respective sockets and fittings where they go with a piece of tile wire. We'll tie them on there to where it's easy to put everything back together when we get that floor done in that cab, and that way you don't have to hunt through a bucket to figure out where A and B is of each number. They're right here together. You just pick one up and mark it. And so there's that. Like, subscribe, comment below, and we thank you. See you.